Hi, so in this video we're going to look at one of the 9 markers which you seem to not be getting the maximum amount of marks on. So with reference to one or more located areas, examine how changes in farming have affected the physical environment. First thing first, in this one we can talk about one or more. Remember the example, I want you to show off as much as you can within your answers, so don't just stick with one. For this example, one of the good ones to talk about would be East Anglia, where in the 1980s lots of people decided to overuse the land. So they put lots of nitrates onto the land, lots of fertiliser, and they overfarmed it. That excess of food wasn't used, so they know they didn't actually have to farm that much. Lots of the nitrates and the fertilisers run off into the watercourses and therefore ruined the water around those farming areas. So one thing that you could talk about here in terms of examining the changes in farming and how it's affected the physical environment, since the 1980s the Common Agricultural Policy has been put in place, and that has put restrictions, it's given subsidies to people, it's tried to make farmers kind of farm their land a little bit better. If we also look at things like environmental stewardship, they say that you can only use a certain amount of fertiliser and nitrates on your land. So therefore, you can say that in terms of how it's affected the physical environment, there's been a positive, because now the watercourses aren't as ruined. The example to give you 8 or 9 marks are looking for appropriate, well-documented examples. I know I've said to you before that you can use local case studies, however, on some of them it wants something that is well documented, so East Anglia would be a good example to use here. You must state the cause and effect, so what was the cause of the change in the physical environment and what effects it had. They're also looking for accurate grammar and spelling and appropriate geographical terminology. Look back through the work that we've done in class, look back through what keywords we have used. You need to be using those in your answers. Another case study that you could use for this one would be Niger, and how they have tried to farm more sustainably, therefore giving people like a small amount of lands to farm instead of giving them a large area which they probably wouldn't use as well, and doing things like building up the stone walls, the bunds, and building those pits where they would put manure and seeds in to again grow more crops instead of just leaving it and potentially over farming or doing anything worse to the land, which would then cause desertification. If you just mention the case study once in your answer, so for example if you just say in East Anglia this happened, you won't get the full marks for that. You'll be stuck at level 1, which is 0 to 4 marks. Don't get yourself into that trap. Use the case study throughout your answer. Use facts and figures. Make sure you know those case studies inside out. Give this question a go, hand it in to me, see what you get. Thanks.